right? Because it just came because it's no effort put in there to acquire it.
I do think that's a big part of it. Also, just financial responsibility is just something that sadly enough, it's not really taught in too many families, and that's why
Or in
poor
school either.
families tend to bring forth poor children that bring forth. I remember it was strange because I had no desire to have money. Even when I was in high school, it's like it just wasn't interesting to me. I didn't care. I started practicing being homeless when I was like 12 and 13 years old, so that I knew like as soon as I get done with all this stuff, I can be homeless somewhere, and then things are
Wow.
just going to be better.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I did that for several years, but
I'd like to hear that story. Yeah. Why did you want to be homeless?
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
just
It's
thought it
like
was
something
cool.
like the freedom of not being
In a home.
connected to everything. It's like
Wow.
all my life I've heard everybody else just like, oh, I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to get this job. It just nothing about that interested me, So I did actually go to college for one semester. Yes.
Mhm. So, how did that work out for you? That whole homelessness.
I tell you what, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but again, the hands-on experience, right?
I wouldn't recommend it, but here's why. Here's why it was great for me. And you should do it too. We'll call that. Kepha Hawkins tells you details his life
Talk to
being
your
homeless.
doctor. Yeah,
About
no.
homelessness.
So, what I did learn is just some nasty secrets about society, and how we really deal with the unwanted people.
Right.
And most of the people out there that are on the streets are, they're mentally ill. They're not. There are a lot of just straight hustlers that when you're driving and you see the person with the sign, that's most likely a hustle. The person who's walking around the street talking to themselves, yelling at things that aren't there, that individual can't just go get a job. Like a lot of people, well, why don't they just get a job?
Right.
Hire him.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to hire him? Okay, that's why. That's
Right,
why he
exactly.
doesn't have a job, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for that individual. It's dangerous for other people. Mental health is like a huge issue that we all just kind of sweep under the rug
Yeah.
and let them walk around, and nobody, unless you have money, there's no help for those people.
Right. No, this is a massive issue, and it's something I always talk about every time some sort of school shooting or some sort of
Right.
mass shooting occurs,
Mhm.
because everyone's immediate conversation is guns, and nobody's talking about it.
Mental
No sane person is killing 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
sane person. So that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest, most obvious thing.
Yeah.
There's clearly some sort of mental issue.
Right.
No one is going to sit here and go, no, I think that guy's pretty sane and pretty normal.
Yeah.
He just chose to be a murderer.
I would have done it too if I would have had a gun.
Yeah, it's like nobody said,
Yeah.
but nobody goes like, and sometimes it's there in the periphery, but it's kind of back to what you're talking about, the whole debate thing, and that's the entirety of the way the system is set up. Some people refer to it as a matrix or whatever. It's all set up. It's set up in a way it's like, okay, it's kind of similar to what we're talking about in college, where it's set up like, yeah, that's what people do. And if you go in college and this is the direction you're going to go in this direction, you go, if you take this thing, you're going to be in this area over here.
Yes.
And it's like only until recently things kind of got shook up, specifically with the things about media,
Yeah.
where it's like, for the longest time, it was controlled by these conglomerates and these corporations and all these things. And then YouTube pops up. And now there's these alternative forms. But now, because when it first popped up, they're like, oh, it's never going to work. These corporations are like, oh, dude, social media is ridiculous.
No
one's going to make it. Listen.
Yeah.
But now, when you have people with hundreds of millions of subscribers, you have people who developing serious voices for free, because you can just, on YouTube, it's free. I don't know if anybody knows. You can just post stuff. They might take you down if they don't like what you have to say. You can't just post anything. But you can post things, and no one's like charge you to post it. You have a platform. And if people like what you got to say, you'll develop an audience. And then very quickly, not very over time, they were starting to push it down, but then now they're going, okay, shoot, like, because now their audience is dropping, and so now they started trying to acquire that. They started making their own accounts and trying to they're trying to regain control over this whole other platform, these corporations, because they didn't back the right horse,
Right.
as it were. But that's anyways, the whole setup. But back to the conversation on mental health. That's something I always say every time one of these shootings occur, because everyone jumps into what the system is, what it's always talking about. And I actually get kind of slightly annoyed, because I've had people, come at me with this, and it sounds as though I'm arguing
Yeah.
in that realm. But what I'm trying to point out is both sides got kind of like is wrong.
Yeah.
Is wrong. And what I'm trying to point out is like, okay, what you have to understand is if the first thing you start talking about is gun control, you're already caught up in the trap. Because the entire point was to get you to talk about gun control instead of the real issue of what's going on here. Because we should be asking ourselves like why the mental health system is set up the way, why this occurs. And it's not because the person found the tool, because there was something else there
Yes.
before all that.
And you have to understand, in dealing with a person like that, it takes a lot of work, so you have to have, it's not like a person with mental health, you just give them a few pills and they're a normal person the next day. It's not. It's like a lot of these things are continued efforts with medication sometimes, and therapy and things, and you have to keep a close eye on them. So it involves somebody else to be involved in it, and if there's no money there,
And trustworthy people.
and we don't value that as a priority in our society, right? We don't look at, hey,
Charity.
look, we got wars to fight, we got roads to fix, we got whatever, blah 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 blah. We don't think of mental health as a priority until it's living next to you.
Right.
And then, hey, why don't we do something about this? Well, guess what? Somebody lives next to all those people. So, and those people, with the right care, concern, tweaking, a lot of them can be fixed.
Right.
Can function in society, but it takes a lot of effort, and nobody's really willing to put in the effort.
Well, out of sight, out of mind is what it always is.
Right. Unless
they're in sight.
Take my route and live on the streets with them.
Right.
And then you get to see that every day, all day, that's the only people
Right.
And it's interesting, because you see not only how society takes advantage of people, but how they take advantage of each other, and how they band together even in those types of environments, and we would help each other out. It's just a unique perspective that if you go through it, you'll have.
Right.
And I would say for that reason, I'm glad I did it. But yeah, I'm not
Not looking to do it again.
Not in a rush to go do it at this point.
Listen, guys, we're doing great things here at the Lamplight Productions. And you can be a part of it for the low price of $0.00. Because all you got to do is subscribe. Ring the bell, ding dong, you can't go wrong. Or don't. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. Though I don't know how you can live with yourself.